All right, 6:05, I call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Barb, roll call, please.
Mayor Steve Sheldon.
Here.
Council members Kevin Robinson.
Here.
Joe Neilbauer.
Here.
Robert Bauer.
Here.
Sarah Evans. Here.
All right, moving on to adopt tonight's agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt tonight's agenda? Councilmember Blumer makes that motion. Do I have a second?
Second, Mayor.
Councilmember Robinson makes a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Before we move on to consent agenda, I want to mention one item on C, appoint Bruce Squirtle to the Planning Commission. This wasn't notified to the public, but this is just an individual finishing out the term of the predecessor before him. The term goes from September 16th, 2019 to December 31st, 2019. Upon that, there will be notices posted for the full extension of the term of the new Planning and Zoning Commission. Correct?
Absolutely, we can.
Okay, that's just to clarify for all intents and purposes of the public, the lad, there was no notice brought out. But he is going to complete this term until December 31st, and once again, for a full term, we will have to send out notices to the public. And hopefully, there will be other people who will apply for it. And on that, I will ask for a motion to adopt tonight's consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Councilmember Hood makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Councilmember Robinson makes a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to meeting open to the public. Barb, do we have anyone?
We have two people. First one is Justin Mueller about bees.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. State your name and address for the record.
Justin Miller, 1940, 237th Avenue Northwest. I just wanted to appear before you again. The last time was earlier in the spring, and I talked to some of you this week. Just want to encourage you again to take a look at this ordinance and take a look at eliminating this ordinance. My understanding of it is that it's a city ordinance. Nobody around us has an ordinance like this or has any constraints around bees. And I would encourage you to just do this thing, just take the ordinance off the books.
Right. I think you left a message for me, and I called you back. Okay. And then, is your address? Is that a PUD that he lives in, or is that not a PUD?
Nope, so I worked with Councilmember Bauer last week and we looked up his address. He is not in a PUD, he's in 2.5 acres. So currently you have to have 5 acres to have bees. So that is the restriction at this point.
Okay. All right. Well, then I would suggest we look at that through our work sessions and that, and we'll see what we can do.
Is there anything I can do to help move that forward?
Kate?
Mayor and council, at this time, we would have to research other cities and see what best practices are, and then we would move forward with the work session.
I think Mr. Robinson has done a lot of that work, so.
I can recontribute those information. We are back in March. I think I gave a packet to the fellow council members. And I can give you what information I had. I took with 5 communities in the neighborhood. Andover seemed to be the most extensive. They actually sent one of their staff members to an 8-hour session at the U of M, et cetera, et cetera. But I can certainly give it to you, Kate, for starters.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor and council, the second option would be to apply for a variance, and then we wouldn't be changing our ordinance as a whole.
The variance process is, you guys can probably correct me, it's a $500 application, and then I need to put money down for a retainer to allow the city to research it. This just seems like a lot easier option, and
I would agree that we should try that at our level.
yeah.
I don't, because I think it's a $350 filing fee, $350, and there's up to $1,500 on top of that.
Correct.
We would get back what we don't use, but I would think before we go that level, we should discuss it ourselves.
It seems like an easy solution to just match the city's ordinance.
Let's see, and I'm glad you brought it to our attention. I was under the assumption that it was a PUD, and that's why you couldn't have it, but now that it's changed or been clarified, we'll look into it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And I did leave a message on the right machine for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, I did.
I always try to return the phone. Okay, thank you. Okay, anybody else meeting open
Yes.
public?
Shelling Osmond.
Hi there, Shelley Conser, 24439 Riverbank Lane Northwest. I'm one of the stir of the pot for this Kings Highway and Riverbank project, and I'm here here to say I appreciate what's being done out there. It is so exciting to see roller skates and skateboards and people jogging and walking their babies because the road isn't like this. It's wonderful.
Like, you got a first lift of asphalt down, right?
Yes, yes, we got some approaches done today, and this council made that happen, and I do appreciate that. And I have a lot of patience with what's going on, but I feel bad for the crew. They've had to put up with a lot. I do appreciate their patience and the neighbors who have had to kind of juggle cars around and deal with weather conditions. I know I reached out to Jim Stangline an email asking if he could get some feedback from the crew. Because with the excitement of this new pavement also comes the concern of safety. We do have some folks who still, they like to do their thing, treat it like a racetrack. Schooling tires, jumping curves, I've already seen it. And I'm asking the council, what can we do? I feel like I'm being a thorn, which I don't have a problem with, obviously. Making a phone call to report someone, but if it's an unsafe condition, I can't get a plate, I can't get a description, and I certainly don't want to have a confrontation, you know, that's ill advised. What can we do? I'm just really concerned about what might happen here. Any thoughts would be appreciated.
Well, Todd, why don't we turn over to you and see what you say?
Well, continue to report, and I know you're not the only one that's called in out there. There have been some recent occasions where plates were obtained. I'm not sure if you were one of the reporting parties.
Yes, I'm sure. Yes, I know.
And these drivers have been spoken to. I can't say for sure that all have received citations. You know, sometimes we have a cooperating witness that's willing to appear in court on behalf of that charge, and then sometimes the officer will issue the judge and charge appropriately, not on all occasions. But I can assure if we do receive plates or use vehicle information, these drivers, the owners are, well, we find out who's driving it and they're spoken to. So will that stop them from doing it again? Not sure, but once these roads are complete, we will make sure to provide a little more presence up there. You know, just look at their security.
All right, but I'm in front of Mike and Shelley, you know, Mike and Shelley's house. There's a stop sign there on that T.
No, there is not.
Not,
There's
was there
no
before?
enforceable signage.
Was there before?
No, there's never been one.
Can there be there now?
There wasn't there, Jared.
I thought there was one.
No, the only thing in front of our yard is the arrows that say go left or right, but there's never been so much as a yield or a stop.
All right, so what I'm asking is, and the speed limit, I believe, is 35.
Well, we have an interesting situation north of us. When you first come in, of course, that's Isanti County. It's, I believe, 20 or 25?
I think it's posted 20.
20?
But that's just a yellow suggested speed limit.
And then when you come from the north to the south, it turns at St. Francis 35. And then when you head out on 245th, it's 40. So we have multiple speed limits to our area. And to be honest, a lot of people consider that a suggestion and not a safety, let's watch out for our kids.
So my thought is, you know, I've always been taught or told that when an area is marked as an automatic 30. Is that right or wrong in the residential?
It goes by, correct me if I'm wrong, but it goes by distance between driveways, I believe, as far as how, to me, with that, the spacing of them residences up there, you know, I would not even consider that rural residential, but I could be wrong. If it's rural residential and there's a certain distance between driveways, it would default to 55 actually. And same thing on Salish a few years ago, if you remember, there's a resident that came in and got that dropped to 35 with the proper speed study. I think that took place and everything else to get a speed limit lowered. So yeah, if the distances are a certain distance apart between driveways, there's actually a default to 55 in certain rural ones.
Well, we can't allow
But
55.
again, these driveways up there seem like they would be closer than that in mine. I can't say what that, I don't remember what that distance is exactly, but just looking at the house, the driveway distances on the east side of the road, on the riverside road, they seem much closer than to me that would be closer to 55.
Well, the reason I bring this up is because now that you're getting asphalt on a place that's been gravel, you're gonna have this type of thing here, because that's when smooth roads, I mean, that's what people do. I mean, you know, laws aren't made for the people who obey them, but for the ones who don't obey them. So that's the problem we have. So that's throughout our whole city. So can we do some more posting of 35 mile an hour or whatever it may be? Can we talk about putting a stop sign on that T something there to control it, because unless we do it, they won't do it. That's a fact. I mean, I live on Poppy Street, I know exactly like it is, I live with it every day, okay? And there's 5 other locations besides me in the city of St. Francis. I've been working on this for 5 years in my location.
And where that T is a bus stop.
Yeah.
That's where.
And I find sometimes the bus drivers do just as poorly as everybody else, to be honest with you.
And I
I see
just want to
them.
take care of our families and our kids up there.
Well,
It
safety's the
scares me
main
to
thing,
death.
so we should be looking into, some more posting, some signs there speed-wise, and a stop sign can be put there. Can we do that? Is it possible?
I know there's some studies that I believe, like when that, I can't speak for a stop sign, but when the speed limit change comes into effect, I know there's some steps that have to be taken, and I believe it does include MinDOT and include.
Is that city though, are those city streets though? Okay. So we have a little bit more control.
So there's, that's what I remember.
Mr. Mayor, I can add to that, so that it will be reposted 35 as it was before. I don't really think lower than that speed would be justified with the spacing of the houses, but
All right, but and I'm fine with that. Can we put more signs up to let them know 35 is what we want?
we can, yeah.
I don't know how
Right now, there's
many signs are out there that say 35, does anybody know? One?
One in each direction.
One in each
One in each
direction, and then there's, you come on 245th, and that's a 40. And you don't see the 35 sign until you've gone on the curb and you're in the neighborhood.
So maybe posting a 35 up closer to that 40 when it changes, transitions, maybe that's a good idea.
Whatever.
I don't know. I don't know what the solutions are. I mean, I'm all for re-educating people, things like that. But once again, the people that are gonna speed no matter what. They're using your neighborhood as a shortcut to get to where they wanna go. And when people are using shortcuts, they don't think about your neighborhood. If you did what they do in your neighborhood, if you did it to them, they'd be just as bad. That's how people are. Selfish is a key word I look at today. But anyway, can we do some things as far as being proactive on our end to look into it? Can we do that?
Yeah, Craig and I will meet, we'll talk about placement of more signs, we'll try and get it.
But now's the time to do it, because
Yeah, because they're out there.
Well, and that's why I'm glad they brought it to our attention. But I mean, this is a whole change of the neighborhood with stormwater drainage. It's a whole change as far as road itself from gravel to asphalt. And it's as a mindset change for the people who've been used to using it for many, many years the way it is. Now they'll have to change. But to help them change or make them change is something we have to guide them to. And sometimes the city has to act like a parent. So in this particular case, we'll have to do that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. But it's nice to know you like what you're seeing.
Yes, I do, thank you.
That's very much nice, okay. Any other meeting open to the public at this point? Okay. Then, we're going to go into a segment here, community service, okay? And this here is something that I initiated myself, and I want to bring this to the attention of council and staff and everyone on the viewing public. This is an award that will be presented here to an individual on our staff who I know doesn't like to be acknowledged for doing anything good, but knowing me like I am, when someone does something good, I always like to acknowledge them doing something good. So, this says here, is a community service award presented to Paul Teichen of City of St. Francis in recognition of long and outstanding service to his community in support of municipal utilities from the MMUA. This is for you. So you'll have to get out of that chair and you'll have to come up there. Yeah, someone, reach my briefcase back there, please. I don't know if I have it there. I think I have some here. It was supposed to have here. I think it's on the box here. I just want to also acknowledge and the help of getting this, by the way. This was Rita Kelly and Steve Downer from the MMUA, okay? Which again is the Minnesota Municipal Utilities Association. This is for all the work you've done on our water treatment plant, our wastewater treatment facility, and our infrastructure. And I know you'll be mad at me, but you can be mad at me. I have some assistance from other people. This was my idea because you've done an outstanding job, and I believe people should be recognized and acknowledged when they do an outstanding job. Facebook, Twitter,
very much.
Thank you.
DOT.
Congratulations, thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay, thanks.
And by the way, pulling off a secret like this was very difficult. Were you surprised?
You think?
Good. Then we accomplished what we wanted. All right. Now, moving on to the rest of the meeting. Let's see. Okay. Now, we will go into new business. Ordinance 253, second series, outdoor storage, second reading.
Mayor and council, tonight before you is a second reading for outdoor storage. This is to clarify the language in regards to the parking pad as it applies to pavers, and additionally cleaning up section that references chapter 19, our driveways and parking services. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Well, I think at this time, for the first reading, I think we pretty much acknowledged that the clarification and taking out the gray area really was a good thing. So I don't have any comment. Joe? Kevin?
I have nothing, sir.
Sarah? Rob?
Nothing.
Okay, and on that, do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 253, second series, outdoor storage, second reading?
Make that motion.
Councilman Newbar makes that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Councilmember Kevin Robinson makes a second. Any further discussion? We'll do a roll call.
Robinson,
Aye.
Nealbauer,
Aye.
Feldman,
Aye.
Bauer,
Aye.
Ludwig, aye, 5-0 carried.
Thank you very much. Okay. Moving on to item B, ordinance 253, second series, summary publication, resolution 2019-38.
Mayor and council, that is in regards to the change of the ordinance and the publication that would start this Friday to require the 30-day comment period. We're happy to answer any questions.
But once again, I think it's pretty well, we've already discussed it, so I think Council, Sarah, nothing? Rob?
Nothing.
Joe? Kevin?
Nothing.
Okay. On that, this is a ordinance, so once again, do I have a motion to adopt tonight's resolution? I'm sorry. So we don't need a roll call. Second series resolution -2019-38, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Councilmember Newbauer makes that motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Bauer makes a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right, moving on to item C, ordinance 254, second series, accessory structures, second reading.
Mayor and council, this is the second reading to address the garage sizing as it relates to our existing 1,000 square foot cap. This would remove that cap and bring all the large structures up to an 80% attached garage allowance. If you follow through the second reading, this would be effective on October 21st. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, once again, I want to thank staff for the clarity of everything and taking out as much of the gray areas as possible. I think it makes it easier for all parties involved whenever this arises. Once again, I have no points of discussion. Joe?
Nothing further.
Kevin?
Nothing, sir.
Rob?
Nothing.
Sarah? Okay. On that, this is an ordinance, so do I have a motion to adopt the ordinance 254, second series, accessory structures, second reading?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Ludwig makes the motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Newbar makes a second, barring any further discussion, roll call.
Nealbauer,
Aye.
Feldman,
Aye.
Bauer,
Aye.
Ludwig, aye, Robinson,
Aye.
carried 5-0.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, moving on to item D, ordinance 254, second series, summary publication, resolution 2019-39.
Mayor and council, this is the summary publication for the ordinance change we just made in regards to the 30-day comment period. It would go in the paper this Friday. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, once again, following everything from the first reading to the second reading, I have no comment. Joe? Kevin?
Nothing.
Rob?
Nothing.
Sarah? Okay. All right, do I have a motion tonight to adopt summary publication resolution 2019-39?
I'll make that motion.
Councilman Newbar makes that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Bauer makes a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right, moving on to item E, adjusting the tax levy for bond indebtedness, resolution 2019-40.
Mayor and council, tonight on your agenda is this resolution. When we do a bond, there's in the covenant, the levy required to pay for that bond. Some of these, several years ago, we decided instead of doing ups and downs, to take and level it off and pay for it that way. And then the one, we have transfers coming from the water and sewer, which takes care of some of the levy. So that's just adjusting that these have not changed from 2019 to 2020. So that would just be adjusting that. Do you have any questions about Melissa?
Right, and we set this, if I look at this from 2013, if I see this from 2013 to the present, 2020 estimate, it's gone down each year.
This is just
Is the levy?
the debt service levy.
Debt
This
service.
isn't the overall levy. We're just adjusting the debt service levy. We have to let the county know because it's in the county records to do it per the bond covenant.
Okay, so is this another issue I'm talking about now, or what?
You're talking about the actual levy.
Yeah, so we need to approve this one and then we'll go in and approve the full levy on the next resolution.
All right, so I see, because you have a resolution, what is it, is this 2019-41 here then?
40.
40, right?
40.
Okay, because it's not listed 40 on our agenda. I don't see 40 on the agenda, I see it here. There it is, right there. But yeah, we're glasses, right? All right, I do see it. A check mark behind me, okay. I am 69, that's for sure. All right, anyway, adjusting tax levy for bond indebtedness, resolution 2019-40. Any discussion on this? Joe? Kevin?
No, sir.
Sarah? Rob? No. Okay. Then do I have a motion tonight to adopt the resolution 2019-40?
Make a motion, Mayor.
Councilmember Robinson makes that motion. Have a second? Councilmember Whitler makes a second. Barring any further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me too, by the way. All right, now moving on to item F, preliminary approval of proposed 2019 tax levy collectible in 2020 and setting budget hearing dates for resolution 2019-41.
Mayor and council, before you is a resolution to set the preliminary levy. This has to be done by September 30th. I then will have to send it on to the county and let them know, and we have to set the dates like and that's the first meeting in December. That we will discuss it and we'll set the final levy and the budget. This levy is going up. This is an increase in our levy of $191,000. There's $10,000 more to capital equipment. There's $60,000 more to streets. And then the rest is in the general fund. This was talked about at a work session a few weeks ago. This levy does provide for the fire chief to go to full-time staff.
Right, and as I mentioned before, as I look at our packet here, from 2013 to 2020, the estimates, the levy has gone down rate-wise. Percentage.
Overall, the levy tax rate is going to actually, by the estimates, drop slightly, yes.
And so
Because we have market value, an increase in market value.
right, and I want to read this. I want to read this portion here. This means that a home valued the same in both years will pay the same amount in city taxes as last year. I want to emphasize that's what it says here.
It would drop a little bit if it was the same amount.
But it won't increase.
Yeah. No, it's not scheduled to increase unless their value goes up.
Unless their value goes up. That's for the city tax portion.
Yes.
All right, I'll open this up for any discussion. Rob, I'll start with you.
As everyone knows, I've always been opposed to raising the levy value. I've said for 3 years that I would like to cut the levy by 5%. And so to have it come up that much for a position I don't believe that the city of St. Francis is big enough for at this time, I would be opposed to setting the levy at that value.
Anything else, Rob?
That's it.
Okay, Sarah?
We talked about it at the work session, and Darcy answered a question as far as there, and so I'm okay.
Okay, thank you. Kevin?
This isn't something that I take lightly either, and again, the word cut is used way too often. It's just not somebody says you're cutting our funding. No, we're not going to raise funding, but that's not really part of this. But Again, we vetted the situation out pretty heavily on our work session. I think we spent 2.5 hours together that night about the fire chief coming on to a full-time position. I think it will benefit the commercial and the public, the general public, in a great way. I think we've seen some of that already with the morale, the service that's provided already by the department. Again, roads, bridges, police, and fire. That's why we're here. That's what the money is for. Primarily, anything outside of that, that's where it gets to the nitty-gritty, and the public should, rise up. But we're trying to keep it real as it should be. Again, this isn't taken lightly. These increases are relatively small for a size of the size city that we are, and it's the right thing to do, and now is the right time to do it. The house values are going up. Again, the formula never changes. We've all paid property taxes for a long, long time. Those who own real estate, so the county still gets its share. It's not smoke and mirrors. If you take the time to read your statement and break it down, this is the time to be involved and be engaged. If you have a concern, we have until December to talk about it. I invite anyone, and I mean anyone, to come and fill the seats and let's talk about it, because you're the patrons. We're working for you. So I'm in full agreement with what's in front of us.
Thank you very much. Joe?
I just remind everybody too that we're setting the ceiling for the levy.
It
It can always go down. It doesn't necessarily, it cannot go any higher than what this is. So any concerns that Rob has, you can still bring them up throughout until we actually set the levy at the end of December. Just saying that if you vote against it tonight, it's more than just that one topic that we're voting for. So we obviously have to have this done by the end of September, and this is our last chance to do so. So I just wanted to throw that out there just as a informational to the public, to anybody listening.
Right, and I also want to emphasize that, bring up rather, that certain cuts were made in certain areas to make this workable, Joe.
Yes.
Certain cuts were made in certain areas to make this more doable. The actual impact per house is very minimal. On a house that's average, a median house price in our city of $200,000, or just under $200,000, the impact would be about $22 a year is the impact, which is negligible in my opinion, to have a full-time fire chief on staff here. Also, I want to acknowledge to the public, we look at everything on a monthly basis, a quarterly basis, semi-annually basis, and an annual basis. So as we look at numbers, nothing here is etched in stone for umpteen years to begin with. We, as a council, we have a finance committee meeting once a month, and we also have, again, a quarterly basis, again, semi-annually, and annual basis conversations with the staff. And so we look at the numbers continuously. I consider this council very strong in budgetary management, and as we look forward, if something has to be adjusted or fine-tuned or taken out or put back in or whatever it may be, we will take care of that as we should. And that is our fiduciary responsibility to you, the public. So as far as I'm concerned here, I'm a true believer that every department head should be a full-time staff member, that members in their department can come and go, but it's the leader of the department that dictates what kind of requirements are for hiring, for staffing, for service from those individuals. That comes from the true leadership, as we acknowledge tonight, in one individual here. So that's what I can tell you as far as my concern. So on that, I will entertain a motion to adopt Resolution 2019-41. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Councilman Robinson makes that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Bluebauer makes a second. In a resolution, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right. Moving on to the last item tonight will be the furnace AC replacement at the fire station.
Mayor and Council, before you tonight is a request for action in replacing 2 furnaces and 2 condenser air conditioning units at the fire station. A few weeks ago, we noticed that we were having some climate control issues, specifically in the training room, as that's our most occupied room in the fire station. We called NAC out to come do an inspection. They did find a failed motor and circuit board on the unit that services the training room, the SCBA room, the communication room, tool room. This is the second major failure of that unit in just over a year. It was the recommendation at that time from NAC that the units be replaced. These units were scheduled for replacement in 2020, so we're just a couple months ahead of schedule at this point. But as you can tell, we're all getting ready, hopefully, for not nearly as poor of a winter as we had last year. But we do need to have some action here. We did go out and solicit 3 bids. Those bids are before you. The lowest bid was Yale at $14,400 for a 92% efficient brine. That is the motion before you tonight, and I will be happy to answer your questions.
All right, first questions I have is, the units we have in place right now, are those original to that fire station, or are they 80% efficient, right? They're not code to 90 or above.
I believe they're 85.
I actually think the one in the police station is 90, or the old police side. Whether or not they're original, I couldn't tell you.
And so we're gonna be replacing both, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, I've looked this over, and I'm gonna speak as a contractor here, and I'm gonna talk to Joe about this, who services these units. And I wanna bring this up to council, so I'm gonna just bring up the informational to you so we can make a decision. I'm not going by the contractor. I know Raycar for 25 years, I'm not going by the contractor. I'm going by efficiency of units and the price difference, okay? We have Raycar, 14,625 for a 95% efficient rating of a ring. And then we go down to 14.4 rather, for 92% Bryant, or at 500 more on, which I believe would be, is not 80%, should be a 90%, right? So why?
Next, you mean? Huh? 80, it should be a 90 on there.
I would think it'd be a 90 because we can't do 80s anymore.
Well, that's what I was wondering. You can't do 80.
You wouldn't want to.
You can.
Okay. You wouldn't want to.
That didn't matter.
We wouldn't want to, all right? We're not going backwards in efficiency, forward is what we're trying to do. So anyway, my point is, so basically Yale's charging us $500 more to go to a 90 plus versus their 92 plus at Bryant. I have had, in all the structures I've built in the last 25 years, I've used ringing all over between commercial and residential and never had a problem with them. I will ask you what I talked to you about. You told me as far as servicing, that's what you do for a living. You say rings are service friendly?
I like reams. I like working on reams just for the fact that they are serviceman friendly. They're easier to work on. They seem to be very reliable. If I was to put one at my house, I prefer reams. That's just
And I just want to...
my experience.
And I'm going on that, you also told me that 3% will pay itself back.
In theory, depending on the heating
length of time. So I also want to mention to you that I checked with Raycar. There's as you see on the packet, there's a $300 rebate for 92%, and the 95% gives us a $400 rebate. So we gain 100. So really, in theory, the difference between a 95% and 92% is $125. I would recommend going with the 95%. If, on the other hand, we change, as we are going to be discussing, starting the first work sessions of many to come, about our buildings and structures, we will be, hopefully in the next, I hope, and I'm just saying this theoretically, I don't know, I would like to see those changes be done in the next 5 years. It will take time. We have public input and many meetings to come, discuss how we're going to do that and come about financing and everything else that goes along with that. But in that particular case, if we have to put out the 95% for resale on the market, 95% to me will gain more response than the 92%. I would rather buy 95% used than a 92% new myself. I recommend the rings because I've used them and have good track record with them, and Joe seeing what he's done servicing them is important to me. But if this were a $2,000 difference net console, I would say no. But $125 difference, I would say it's not a big deal. We should go the better and be done with this. Hopefully this will be the last time we deal with this until we get their new unit. One thing I will mention to you is on the justification to the Planet software, there was a mention of a space heater in the front entryway of the fire station. Yale was part of their bid to replace that. That's a 2,000 watt fire heater, which is on a double pole 220 service. 1,500 watt or less is a 110. This will be a 220 power. I believe we could probably buy this unit cheaper than through them and have our electrician wire it. It's a simple 2 hots ground, maybe 2 hots ground and a neutral. Not a hard deal. I know I can do it myself, but I know they won't allow me to do it. So I can't do that. I would save you the cost for that. But what I'm saying to you is, I don't believe we should go by the additional offer of changing out the unit in the front entryway. It's the HVAC we're really looking at. I'm sure a future fire station would probably implement in-floor heating, radiant heat, and furnaces too, in a future structure, whenever that happens. But in the meantime, the difference between going from 95 to 92 is very negligible, especially when you get a higher rebate for the one, and we get more efficiency out of it, we should pay ourselves back over time. So I'm open for discussion. Kevin, your input?
I have a question then, since you looked it up. The Raycar is offering a 98,000 BTU and a 68,000 BTU.
Right.
Various sizes, two different sizes, is a 68. And again, Joe can probably back this up, that if you put an 80 in there and it's too big for a room, it sometimes works as hard or wastes energy, correct or not correct? I mean, what,
I
this
don't
is
think
what
it's
size
waste
it is.
energy, it depends on your heat loss calculation of the building, but if you're going with air conditioning, what it can do, if it's oversized, is it'll cool the room without removing the humidity.
These are two different units in two different areas of the fire station. So that's why you see the difference in BTU.
Right, so one vendor quoted a pair of 80s, and another vendor quoted a 98 for one section, for one room, and a 68,000 for another. So that's, a difference for that smaller room. Again,
That's what I was curious about.
their interpretation of the room usage and time, and I think that's interesting. The rebates, is the $300 figured into the final cost of the Yale bids or the Raycar bids?
I don't think they're not figured in, they're just part of it. I mean, it would be additional to it.
Oh, okay, but you said one is $400 and then one is $300.
95% is at 400, 92% is 300.
So in real money, Raycar, you take the 400 off there, it'd be $14.25, and in real money, it'd be $14.1.
Right.
So yeah, okay, I'm sorry, you're 100, you did mention it, 125.
Right, and so the difference is, but you're getting 3% more efficiency from one. In other words, the amounts are, again, because of the quality of the product and the amount of money lesson of it.
Mhm.
Again, if it was a $2,000 difference, I'd say go the low ball. But I think, in certain cases, low ball quality is the one I'm looking for. One thing we've done in the city since we've come into office here back in 17 and it continues to do is we spend dollars wisely. We get dividend return on our dollars. That is, we've done with plow trucks, our tool cats, and all our police vehicles, our fire vehicles, whatever. I had one gentleman just call me recently about our fire, over the weekend asking about our fire new vehicles, and was wondering about how we got them, and I told him they're coming to transfer from police over to fire, utilizing the resources we have. He also was interested in buying that pickup truck, by the way. So I can give you his name and number. He was looking at that, so something to talk about there. Anyways, I'm just bringing it up on the far amount of, we're gaining more efficiency for not a large dollar amount.
Are we allowed to step outside the boundaries of a low bid, et cetera, Joe, in your experience? Equipment preference is one thing, equipment experience is another.
Councilmember, I think the council has said the reasons of why they're going to go with a different vendor on that, so I think that's okay.
Okay.
Anything else?
No further questions.
Joe?
That was one of my questions with the low bid, just because I know the charter says we have to go with a low bid, but when you're getting value back, I guess, and we've discussed it as to why we wouldn't do that. That was one of my major questions. The other question I have, I guess, would be, so you said the one failed, and this just bothers the hell out of me as a service guy. But the motor went bad, the circuit board went bad, and parts you're looking at probably about $500 max if you go buy them and put them yourself, which I would do. But I can't. But if that one failed, one that doesn't warrant, unless the heat exchanger shot, it doesn't necessarily warrant replacing the unit. Two, they're set up to be replaced next year anyway, so you factor that into it too. Which a year early is not such a big deal, but then my other question is that we're gonna be discussing buildings and whatnot moving forward to replace both of them, whether or not they both need to be replaced or not. I don't know enough about the current ones we have in there. That's not me, because I had a few days possibly to take a look at it, but I haven't, so I will say that.
Paul, what is the shape of the ones that are in there as far as this, to go with 2 versus 1?
Excuse me? As far as the condition?
I mean, because like.
How old are they? Are they both the same age? They were replaced at the same time previously?
If they're original equipment, one would be 1990 and the other would be 1996, I think.
So well over 20 years plus.
I'm guessing.
Well, I'm just saying, but over 20 years.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm wondering, do we have to do this at this meeting, or is it something that we can talk, we're gonna be talking about building with the work session, do we do it next meeting? We're not missing too much time. Of course, you're gonna need heat soon too, obviously.
We thought we were done with the air conditioning until today too, so.
Yeah, no, it's shut up maybe
26 down, some degrees from 66 degrees.
I'm just throwing that out there as an idea for the council. We're gonna go into a meeting about buildings or whatnot, or what we're gonna need. Granted, it's not gonna happen tomorrow anyway, but.
Well,
Do you replace both, or do you just go with one unit that you need to replace, and then do the other one later, or do you just say we're doing both?
Or we're probably getting a better price because we're going both. All right, and the fact of it is, by the way, again, if we start the discussion here on these buildings, when these will come into fruition, well, I don't know, because it could be 5 years from now, it could be 10 years from now. In the meantime, we've done some great changes to that fire station to make it workable. We finally, by the way, for staff, I'm sure council knows now, we finally found that leak that was up by a scuttle on that roof that was done under warranty. But that roof, I'm a firm believer, from my experience in roofing on flat roofs specifically, by the way, that around scuttles, you always double membrane and do more around the scuttle than less around the scuttle. And the fact that that wasn't caught when they first did it, a leak happened in one area of it and then transferred down the truss to come out of a whole different area. And we did other things to complement that, but it was right there. So we've lowered ceilings from 12 feet down to 8 feet. We changed your educational room and stuff like that. We've done some really good things in this building. But on the other hand, going into a future building, I would definitely recommend, and I will recommend at that time, looking at infrared heating, radiant heat, and whatever, to make that thing go off 30, 40 years down the road.
Sure, there's a lot of options to create more efficiency.
But in the meantime, we have to have this facility workable and good, so.
The one thing that I would caution is the buildings are a discussion at this point. It's an if.
Right.
And when we're dealing with our facility and our climate control, I want us to be cautious. We all have desires to do something different, but we have a known right now. And that's what we have to focus on until we have a different plan in place.
I agree. Joe?
No, that makes sense. And all the prices for 2 furnaces, 2 air conditioners are pretty well involved.
Yeah. I think you're getting a good deal based on 2 versus 1.
Nowadays, I've seen a lot of companies, eyeball, things like that.
All right, and let's see, Sarah, I'll look to you.
No, I think that if we're doing one and the other one is up for replacement next year anyway, it makes sense to do them both at once, so that.
Well, they were actually both up for replacement next year.
Right.
They're both scheduled for replacement.
Right, so if they were both scheduled.
One of them's even 24 years old.
It
Usually
makes sense just
one
to
goes
do
the
them
other.
at the same time, otherwise I don't think you're gonna get as good of a deal, first of all, and you're gonna pay for that, them coming out again. So to me, financially, this is the better way.
And logistically, getting them done at the same time makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
And actually before you need them too. Rob?
I don't know HVAC that well, so I'm kind of leaning on your guys' experience, of years of experience versus Yale. 292s, is that better than a 98 and a 68, or was that specifically based on the needs of what that one?
Well, no, there's no saying that 95% efficient, but that's BTUs is different.
Okay.
Okay,
So both of them are 95,
Right.
just one's a little bit smaller.
Right,
Right.
there's different locations.
I'm leaning on your guys' expert knowledge of that type of stuff, so, I don't have a problem moving up to the RICAR for the amount of money that, we potentially could save, just on efficiency. And like the mayor said, if we pull those units out in 5, 10 years and we want to try and resell them or even use them again within the city, they're better units for our residents. So I wouldn't be opposed to moving up to the RICAR.
Okay, the way you brought that to my attention, because Paul said there are other locations like the Warming House and other areas that could use them, so. Okay. All right, any other discussion by anyone on the council? Okay, so on that, I'm going to have a motion for the furnace AC replacement at fire station to go with the 95% efficient ream units, 98,000 BTU / 68,000 BTU for the price of $14,625 with a $400 rebate to be added on, to be taken off of that as we apply for it through CenterPoint Energy, by the way. And as far as the space heater in the entryway, I've talked to Parrish about this and Paul. Take off the cover, look at the fins, see if they need to be cleaned, which I don't know if they have been. We'll see if it works that way. If it doesn't, we'll make the unit probably is about $350. We can replace it easily ourselves. Parrish actually thinks we get it for cheaper than that. So.
The keep an eye on.
Yeah, it seems to be the way to go. But I'm more for the efficiency of this unit is what I'm going for. So on that, to have a motion tonight, again, to adopt furnace / AC replacement of fire station with the 14,625, 95% efficient room units, 98,000 BTU, 68,000 BTU, with a $400 rate gate.
I'll make that motion.
Councilmember Bauer makes that motion. Do I have a second? Councilmember Bubar makes a second. Do I have any other further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Good job by staff on bidding on that. I'm glad you guys did what you did. One other, always understand, we're going to look at it, which is our job to look at it. But we do have, as I told Paul earlier today, I'll give my 2 cents on plow trucks and 2 cents on tool cats. I'll give my 2 cents on squad cars and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, that's your area and your expertise. But this happens to be our expertise for two of us anyway, so and that helps the council and staff in general, and most of all the city. So that's why we do what we do, okay? Meeting open to the public second time?
No one signed up.
No one signed up? Okay. Then moving on to departments reports. Public Works, Paul?
Mayor and council, in your packet tonight is our monthly reports for August. Nothing too far out of the ordinary here. The grounds and the parks, grass continues to grow like crazy. We've had plenty of rain and it's kept things green here for a long time, so we are spending a lot of time working in those parks, trying to keep grass down. Still quite a few activities happening in the parks. We just recently had a big garage sale and a car wash, so they're still being used quite a bit. In our water and sewer department, the water plants and the wastewater plant continue to work as efficient as they can and produce good lab results. We did see some plugged pumps last month, so that caused us a little bit of headache again, but we did clean quite a bit of sanitary sewer, cleaned lift stations, processed our biosolids. That took 3 weeks to dry approximately 850,000 gallons of biosolids that's been stored over the last year, so that's done now. I think the other significant thing that I wanted to mention tonight was that our meter project continues to move forward. Notices are being sent to water residents this week. Ferguson expects to have meter replacements scheduled next week, and we'll start replacing meters next week. So with that, I'll answer any questions.
That's excellent, by the way. Because I noticed there on your last page, 84, no, usually I see around 50 rereads. You know, this was 84, so there's a spike on that. And then I saw on rereads, well, 28, it goes around that area, about 20, something like that. And the rags, I don't know if we'll ever stop that round. I actually said at the last council meeting, if we had residents and we could track them down and them clean those pumps, I'm sure we would do away with that problem altogether, but that's not going to happen in my lifetime. So it's up to Brent Barrett. I can definitely tell you that I appreciate the staff doing that because I see the pictures with your gloves on that. I'm glad you're doing it, not me. I'll put it like that, so I do appreciate that. But as far as, I'm believing that the rereads and stuff like that, which were high, this will all come down with the new meters coming in place and having us more hands-on control of that problem. So
that is the absolute expectation, yes.
I'm glad. So once again, if you have any questions, people will start coming out, they'll have tags, okay, approved by the police and our department, and that's approved. If you have any questions, they can call City Hall. But I also want to emphasize on that, your meter replacement is being taken care of by the city. If there's any problems of plumbing around that meter before it can be done, they will be notified and then given time to resolve that problem, and then the meters will be replaced. But that would be on the customer's pocket, on the resident's pocketbook, not the city. The meters will be replaced free of charge to the residents. Any other, again, problems around that will have to be taken care of by the homeowner. Kevin, anything to say on the report?
Not really, other than Thursday, September 19th, the Midnight Open House is your opportunity again from 4:30 to 7:30 at the First Baptist Church here in St. Francis. Please take the time to pop in. Again, the first round of public meetings were moderately attended, or modestly attended. Again, speak now or forever hold your peace. This is a 50-year lookout that they're doing. And again, some of these things take usually 5 to 7 years. They're doing a 2-year fast track on this. So this is a chance. We had a 1-hour preview here prior to our meeting this evening and during a work session. It was very informative, and I think you'll be enlightened on what you see. They had 4 opportunities here for us this evening to look at. So please take the time to come out. I know life is busy, school and kids and work and driving time, etc. But please take the time if possible. Thank you.
All right, now, how about your comment on the Department of Public Works report?
Oh, I'm sorry. I've done that before.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who makes mistakes here.
To elaborate a little further, I know we were watching Paul Blush, but he, for what little time I've been here and talking to my fellow council members and whatnot, the frugalness, the thoughtfulness, the ingenuity, and the stuff that Paul puts into play in his department, and not to heap it on there big, but I took a tour prior to my time being seated here and then after, and he just does a heck of a job. You treat it as your own, like we would all like to see. The money and time spent, and like the mayor said several times before, they do MacGyver-like stuff over there that keeps us safe, sound, and productive. And I just want to thank you. I admire that. I'm a garage guy as well, and can appreciate when you put it together. But the fact is that you have a real passion for the job, not just punch in and punch out. So I want to thank you there.
Nothing on your report. Thank you. Congratulations.
I promise, sorry.
Paul, good report. Please, residents, stop flushing rags down. It costs man hours, which costs money from the city. It's your dollars. If it doesn't come out of you, don't flush it. Other than that, the report is really good. I appreciate it.
You're gonna keep drilling that, like the turn signals on our roundabout for me.
Left turn before the water goes down.
Sarah?
Great report, and you were very deserving for that word, Paul. My only question is for the meter readings for monthly for the city-owned and large users. Will those readings, be affected by the new meters? Will that change, or will we still have to do those readings?
We are in the process of changing those meters out as well, so that'll be all a part of the new AMI system. So we will gain that staff time back.
Oh, okay, thank you.
All right, now, we'll have council reports, and we'll just skip past Kevin. All right?
Thank you, sorry.
Me?
Yeah.
All right, I would just tell everybody to get down to the First Baptist Church again. Reiterate what Kevin said. It's important for people to give their input. Again, I've said, I've seen on social media where people say they want the council to speak up for them. Well, I don't doubt that'll happen. I think there's power in numbers. The only reason it's even being looked at is because of the thousands and thousands of emails received by your state representatives as well as MnDOT after the accident happened. So again, 5 of us saying what the people think, I don't think it's going to get nearly as far as everybody coming out and saying their piece and getting their input put in. So it's important that you do take the time out if you can get there. Be there on Thursday, and I'll post stuff too as far as on my Facebook stuff. It'll be shared by a few other community members that get out to a lot of people. But it's important to be involved.
Very good. Well put. Rob?
Well, I won't beat on the 47 thing too much, but let's get out and figure out our corridor from east to west and get your thoughts. If you live on the east side of town, how you want to get better to the business district and back home. Let your voices be heard. I'm not an expert on HVAC, so I kind of lean on the experts here to kind of lean us towards that. I am a 12-year veteran of a firefighter, and there's probably no one in this room that better serves the citizens than someone running into a home that's burning while you're running out. I am so much about safety, and I don't want it to be misconstrued that I'm anti-fire. What I am, we could have 40 or 50 firefighters full-time, but what we don't have in this city is the residents that pay taxes on that type of stuff. Spending is a little out of control. When I've asked for several years for a 5% cut in the budget, but we can go back into the budget and find money. That's what I'm saying. So we don't have the constituents out here that make enough money to provide 40 full-time firefighters and another 100 cops so that we can get more safe. We just don't have it to give. And if we want to lean on our taxpayers for more money, you're going to hear it from our residents. I've seen it on Facebook. They're not for this. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Sarah?
I attended the school board meeting last Monday. They are working through some bumps with the start of this new school year in construction, but from what they're hearing, the public is very pleased with the improvements that we've made in the building so far, and they're looking forward to that continuing. And I will, of course, be at their meeting next month.
All right, I too want to emphasize that this meeting on the 19th Thursday is very important. There may be one more public after that, I believe, possibly. We're talking about in October.
Mayor and council, the business meeting was scheduled this afternoon for October 3rd. So the businesses specifically will be invited to that meeting. Notices will start being generated now that we have a date, but that is now confirmed.
But, and I will be talking to business people that want to show up as residents too tomorrow on that. So, but I can't emphasize, I will go on 150% of what Joe, Councilor Muehlbauer said about, it's one thing for 5 of us to speak, but when you get 200 people to speak or 500 people to speak, that's when people listen. So your voice is being heard. It's a perfect time to get out there and speak and then put your 2 cents down on those maps or posters, whatever. Put your input on that because we're gonna have to live with this for quite many years down the road. So we sure as heck want to get it right the first time.
And there'll be lots of people there to answer their questions.
Yes, I mean, WinDOT is going to be there, and they are working in coordination with state and county, Noga County, and us. I want to bring up that these discussions about the buildings, for viewing public here, discussions about the buildings, we're doing this because we want to be preventive and proactive. Why? Because bigger ticket items like roofs are expensive, unless you're going to have a building that is going to be there enough to have payback return on a roof, like a minimum of 10 years. These buildings are old. The fire station has got a hodgepodge of property of segments that are as old as between 50 and 60 years old, kind of like our middle school. So to us, we're looking ahead of the game, trying to prepare ahead of time. We're going to want public's input to this, as well as our work sessions, and then financing everything else that we're going to do with it. But it's going to be a long entity. It hasn't been discussed since 2011, over 8 years ago, when it was the Police Public Works Building. At that time, the City Hall should have been put there, but it wasn't. So now we have to do other things today. So this is all being preemptive and proactive. I will also go on to say to you that in the last 20 years of this city, money has not been spent here at all. They've run on a fine, I've said this more than once, on a lean and mean type of attitude here. And that's why today we're spending money. But are we getting return on the dollar? Yes. And I've said to you, Rob, many, many times, and I'll say it again on record, show me a cut with a benefit behind it, a long-term dividend, and I will look at it sincerely with full due diligence. But to cut for just cut's sake, I will not look at all. And I will go on record as I just have. I will say to you that we are spending money properly. To me, these departments, this fire department, for the first time in 20 years, we have a solid fire leadership with captains and an assistant fire chief and a fire chief. And we did that by taking a 6-hour interview process back in 2017. But we are not spending overblown budgets. I don't agree with that at all. This is not government throwing money down the toilet. We are spending money in the proper ways. We are dealing with plow trucks. We went from a plow truck that was bought from Florida that didn't work here, that was got stuck numerous times, had to plow the roads twice. We replaced that with a truck made from Minnesota. We have a second one coming. We will now not have to deal with plow trucks till 2039. That is a good investment. That is dollars being spent wisely for a long-term dividend. So when people tell me that, when you say to me we have a big government here, I don't believe we have big government here. We're spending money where we should have spent it years ago properly, and we didn't. But once again, bring me a cut with a long-term dividend and a gain and beneficial to the majority of our residents, and I will look at it with full due diligence. On that, I will say to you once again, please come to that meeting on the 19th, and if you have any questions on Riverbank is a changeover from stormwater repairing, or stormwater direction, a redirection of water, also gravel change in asphalt. I would just emphasize to the people out there, to the residents that live there, if you have questions or concerns, first of all, be patient. Let us finish the project. As they came forward tonight with some good concerns, we will look into that. But also, if you have any real concerns about how what's going, I would say to you, I've heard stories about people taking out flag locates, being pissed off at the contractors and stuff like that. They're just doing their job. So if you have any concerns, call City Hall, call our engineering staff, call our public works staff, and we'll definitely tell you what's going on. But please be patient. We will get there. We have a good plan in implementing a good plan rather, and just be patient with the change. As far as, again, the signage and speed signs and stop signs, whatever, we will definitely look into that, but please be patient. This was a long time in coming, 26 years in the making. This council took it on, and we followed through with the problem to get to a solution, and we've done that. So again, please be patient. Don't be mad at the contractors. I can't emphasize that enough. They're just doing their job. If you want to be mad at somebody, call me, write, email me, or one of the council members. But don't take it out on staff for doing their job. On that, I have nothing else to say. Just a reminder, everybody, city offices will be closed October 14th for Columbus Day. Once again, also, if you can't make the meeting on the 19th, you want to know what's going on with MnDOT, look at our newsletter. Also, I pointed out in the newsletter, go to our website, hold your cursor on our community. When the window pops up in the lower left corner will be a link to the MnDOT site, and you can find out what's going on there. And once again, if you have any questions, please call us. Help us to serve you better by keeping in communication with us, letting us know your concerns. That way we can serve you better. On that, I will ask for any more business to be held today at all from anyone? None? On that, I will adjourn this meeting at 7:07.